I just got a new coat still. Okay. Got a little brand new feel. Not so fast, switch blade, cut your car wheel. I'm on top, self-made, I'm the real deal, yeah.
Well, hello, Tribe. I wonder if you guys know what time it is that I'm recording this video. All hours of the night, we are back with another video. Before we get into today's video, which is about none other than the iconic Sade, before we get into that, I want to say this. It is so important. If you enjoy the content of your favorite YouTuber or whoever you connect with here on YouTube, let them know that you enjoy it. Like it, comment, share, because you don't know that those little small things, it keeps the content creator motivated. So if they don't see the numbers and the views, or they don't see the comments, or if they don't know whether or not what they're doing is being received. And so I know for me, I only go where the love is, and I pipe out real soon. I don't have a problem with it. I only do it because there's somebody here letting me know that they are here. So I appreciate those who are always in the comments. And sometimes I pull away and I'll get a notification that somebody commented, and it'll pull me back. That's engagement. It's necessary. I don't know about any other YouTuber, but I know for me, it's important. It pulls me out of when I decide that I don't want to do this anymore, and I go on off into my own world. If I get a comment from someone who says, this resonated with me, I appreciate this, or somebody who says, I have a question, those things let me know that there's humans on the other end. So I know a lot of y'all like to go silent, or y'all like to be silent watchers. You know, a lot of people like to get things for free. But life and living is an even exchange. It's always a transaction. It doesn't have to be money. It could simply just be energy. So if this video resonates with you, I'm going to ask that you send some energy back my way by subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing to your friends, family, or someone. Just do something with the energy that you received. Because, darling, these YouTube hacking streets 5 times over have a sister thinking, Lord have mercy, is it even worth it? In any event, today we are talking about legendary Sade. Now, we're not going to talk about her beauty because that's apparent, all right? It is inescapable how beautiful she is. And I'm talking about the symmetry of her eyes and the shape of her nose and her brow. Symmetrically designed perfectly. I'm not talking about that. On this channel, of course, we're pulling from Hut Wisdom, so it's going to go a little bit deep. Now, what I've done for my investigation is I went and viewed all kind of videos and articles, and something told me to go to her website to see what's there. I love her website because it is not, your typical music website, because it gives us the backstory of the artist. Some of it in her own words, and some of it I really loved the simplicity of her website. It told me the story about how she started, where she came from, and gave me some insight so that when I did go and view videos and interviews, I had an understanding of the person or the persona that we all assume is Sade. Now, I say assume because this is where we're going in today's video. I want you to get some notes because we are going to go deep, pulling from Elder Eden, using Sade as a way to learn. On her website, it says she grew up listening to American soul music, particularly the wave led by the 1970s. Artists such as Curtis Mayfield, Donny Hathaway, and Bill Withers. As a teenager, she saw Jackson 5 at the Rainbow Theatre in Finsbury Park, London, where she worked behind the bar at weekends. In her words, she says, I was more fascinated by the audience than by anything that was going on stage. They attracted kids, mothers, and children. Da, 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 da. That's the audience I've always aimed for. I want to pause right there for a second because that gives us a lot of insight into the person, not the persona. And I want to talk about how those two are completely different. Okay? I went back to the archives, videos back to 1989, 1999, 1997. And what I found is that I can clearly see the evolution of the woman. All right, a lot of us don't really pay attention to that, right? We pay attention to the music, the sound, and the persona that we are led to believe is the person. But when I went back through the interviews, I can see the evolution of the young girl, the young woman, into womanhood, and then finally where she's at today. All right. And what I've noticed, I'm going to play a video for you here, and I want to see if you're going to see what I'm talking about. I'm going to play two videos, in fact. I want you to take a look at both of them, and then I'm going to give you some time to think about it, and I'll come back to share my point that I'm trying to drive home here. Okay? So take a look at this video, and I'll see you guys in just a bit.
First of all, I have to tell you, I'm really pretty nervous about doing this interview because I've seen so many pictures of you, and you're just so gorgeous. And I wanted to be cool when I did this. That's why I wore this little tan. I was supposed to turn my collar. I need some help trying to be cool.
I'm not that bad, though, am I?
Is this better?
You look great.
First of all, I have to tell you, I'm really pretty nervous about doing this interview because I've seen so many pictures of you, and you're just so gorgeous. And I wanted to be cool when I did this. That's why I wore this little tan. I was supposed to turn my collar. I need some help trying to be cool.
I'm not that bad.
Oh, Donnie. I remember these days. What good times. Listen, before we get into Sade, there's a few things I want to see if you guys recognized about this gentleman's behavior. And a lot of women don't really pay attention, but when you are in the presence of a man, he's going to be performing. And I say performing, I say that word specifically. If a man is in the presence of a beautiful woman, a woman he's sexually attracted to, sexually aroused by, and or is thinking, oh my goodness, what would I do if I had a chance at you? You are going to see that exhibited in small behaviors like the touch of the nose, all right, which is a sign of I'm now performing. I want you to believe that I am cool, all right? You see men who grab their chin with their thumb and their pointer finger, you see them rubbing it, and I'm doing it like you guys can see me, but you can't. But you see that that's a performance act. You'll see that they'll stick out the tongue, all right? That sticking out of the tongue, pulling in the bottom of the lips, lets you know that that person really do believe that you're beautiful, and if only they had a chance. Now, what I think is even more interesting is Sade's response to his unconscious mating cues, all right? She does a lot of rolling of the eyes, and she's flattered, but never would he ever, under any circumstances, have a chance, okay? And what I also find interesting in this conversation is that even though he's not her type and she wouldn't, and I'm going by what I see in their interactions, and all of that we'll go deeper into that in a later date. But what I find even more interesting about her is that even though he's not her type, she accepted what he offers, okay? She accepted what he offers, which is the flirtation, which is I find you beautiful. You'll find that she does these two things, and which is I'm actually going to point out at some point, if I can just get to the point, Karima. She does this rocking back and forth, all right? This rocking back and forth, shrugging of the shoulders, and she holds her front knees, and she'll move side to side with a slight tilt of the head, letting you know that she's accepted whatever it is that you said. So if you say, I find you beautiful, you're so gorgeous, she'll sway side to side as a form of acceptance, but then there'll be a slight tilt of the head letting you know that there's some humility present there, which is extremely attractive for beautiful women. I see a lot of beautiful women who lack humility, and that is just so unattractive. But if you can be beautiful and have a sense of humility at the same time, oh my goodness, you'll have all kind of people falling in love with you, even if you would never go there with them. I'm going to play this next clip for you because I believe this next clip is what I was trying to get to as far as to the humility piece, which is not a part of the persona that we all know, but it is, I believe, the core of why we all love this mysterious woman named Sade. Here we go.
Kind of a sex symbol, if you will. Is that Sade?
Sade just likes simple clothes, really. I don't like... In fact, I think if you're a sex symbol, you have to like glittery gowns and sequins, and I don't like that.
This is the young woman I'm telling you about, and there's so many videos. I wish I could put them all here. Perhaps I can upload some sort of class or something. But listen, this lady has this beautiful tick that she does, and perhaps you can see it there, where their neck ticks while she speaks with her teeth, right? There's a tick, and then there's the rocking back and forth of the eyes, and that tongue that she uses in every interview, and I'll prove that to you. That one right there, you see that? She does that a lot. These are subtle clues, okay? There's three things that I pick up. One, with the tick that she has, which I think is just absolutely adorable. It is a sense of innocence, okay? There's a sense of innocence, and that tick is kind of like a, I'm not sure, but I am sure. So you have that combined with a little bit of that tongue, which she just used it again. You see, she does it a lot, which lets you know that she's absolutely sure. So there's two things working at one time. There's this, I'm soft, I'm open, I'm gentle, but then there's this subconscious parts behind that, which also says that I'm all woman. Now, a few words come to mind. You know, coquette is one of them, but I'll explain deeper. Coquette, all right? Park that in your memory, and I'll explain that in a bit. Bashful, modest. How could you be modest and coquette at the same time? How can you do that? Well, there are a few baselines that we have here that she does, and I've seen it done in about 11 or 12 of her interviews. That tick, did you just see that tick? That tick, which is absolutely, it's just fantastic. There's a bit of innocence in that tick. There's a little bit of, a little bit of purity. So we get the purity, the modesty, we get that with the tick. And it's simple. It's not overt, all right? Now, I want to go back to the word that we just had up on the screen, coquette. You know, coquette, it can be seen in a negative, as far as to women who are flirtatious by nature. They do it for this, just to get the attention of somebody. But what I know about performers, both musicians and or entertainers, there's some behaviors that they have within themselves that makes them great performers. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's just a part of their baseline. In this case, when I'm saying the word coquette, you cannot tell me that the tongue movement, that is not a woman who is aware. She's absolutely aware. But what makes it not so overt is that she has that small tick that adds the innocence to it. So it mellows out the sexiness where it doesn't seem so upfront and in your face. Now, because there's a great balance, you have the balance between those subtle gestures, all right, and then her actual personality, it just makes it very, very mysterious because you're not sure which one is it. Is it the bombshell? Is it the siren? Is it, you're not sure. And because you're not sure, it's mysterious by nature. Now, to add into the mysterious nature, she has these little small things here, But I want to talk about something else. But before I do that, let me play this next video.
Spandau isn't working with Spandau was very much just something that happened. I was designing, and they were friends of mine, and they were coming to New York, and they wanted to do a show before they came on stage. I wasn't friendly with the whole band. I'm friendly with the manager and the guitarist and songwriter. Much. Anyway, must go.
Okay, but look, Sade, please. Come on, Sade, please. Just one song. That's all I ask. Just one song.
The begging that Wanda Sykes does in this clip, I wish I could play the whole clip for you because it's hilarious, and you'll actually also get a chance to see in this clip. Maybe I'll link it down below so you guys can watch it yourselves, but you'll notice that her voice has matured so much more. And actually, after watching her videos, I think we counted 12 videos together, and we noticed that there was about 4 voice changes over her career. As far as her speaking voice is concerned. Now, what will happen with women and with men, we are finding our voice, okay? We're finding our voice as we are growing, as we are developing. We're finding our voice and what it sounds like to hear ourselves speak. And so she's had a deepening of her voice. She had a very high-pitched voice at one time, but now in her older years, which she's absolutely still stunning, she has a very, very deep speaking voice, which is a little bit far removed from where she was when she first came into the industry. And that's a part of becoming. This is why I tell women, you are going to evolve, darling. Allow yourself to evolve. Allow yourself to change and expand. Find your voice. At some point, you'll notice that, wait a minute, is this my speaking voice? You'll start questioning yourself, and even that's good, all right? Now, the part I wanted to get into is, in this clip, Wanda is begging her, please, Sade, please, 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 please. What is that? I'll tell you what it is. She has not overextended herself. When you go to her website, you'll notice that we haven't seen her since 2011, according to the website. Now, if there's some other dates out there, I don't know. But according to her website, when you go to past events, the last events have been since 2011. And boy, was she busy in 2011. All right? There are no upcoming concerts. There are no upcoming events. There's no upcoming signings. There's nothing coming up for this legend. We're talking about someone who's been to Argentina, Brazil, Bulgaria, Serbia, Estonia, okay? Greensboro, North Carolina, Kentucky, Texas, California, Nevada, all over the world. All over the world. But there's nothing current, nothing coming, and there's no event scheduled. And we still know the name. We still know the name. She's even more relevant today than she was back then. Still a legend, equally so. This is someone who's been all over the world. Now, I remember in one of my videos I explained that my mother had said to me that it is better to be felt as a woman than it is to be heard. Today you hear women say, I need to speak my piece. I remember someone used to tell me, why do you have to have the last word? All right? My mother told me a long time ago, it is better to be felt, than it is to be heard for women, because that's where we get our power from. And I'm doing it right now. I don't know if you can feel it. I'm pulling my energy from my belly so you can feel what I'm saying. It is better to be felt than heard. This is how you create a legend. She's not overexposed, not in too many places at one time. My mother had a theory about this. And I share this on one of my I don't know if you guys remember, like, it's one of my early on videos. I had on this tweed jacket and I talked about this, my mother saying this. But my mother said to me, you don't want to be the woman that's at all the parties. And they know your name because you're there all the time. You want to be the one invited to the parties. That's who you want to be. In today's world, they say it's not who you are, it's who you know. Well, my mother had a twist on that. She would say it's who knows you. And this is the perfect example of that. Understanding how valuable you are, how valuable your time is, so that you don't overexpose nor overextend yourself. When you pop out, let it be meaningful. Let it be meaningful when you show up. You better show out. Give them a run for their money. Be amazing. Be spectacular. Be fabulous, honey. When you show up, you better be the belle of the ball. You better be smoking. My mother taught me that a long time ago. Reserve your energy for the things you love. Decide how much of yourself you're going to share with the world. Do not become a slave to the system. And this woman is showing you that it can be done. We haven't seen her since 2011. And she's still talked about till this day. She didn't need 1 million albums back to back to back to back to back. What she did was create an unforgettable one. An unforgettable two, I'm actually thinking about, that are fantastic. She created unforgettable music. Do you see where I'm going with this? And I'm going to prove my theory because she's going to say what I said. Which is, you decide how much of yourself you want to share with the world. And when you do decide to share yourself with the world, let it be amazing. The mysteriousness behind her lies in the fact that she's living her life on her own terms. And she hasn't fallen in line with what we expect from performers to do and or be like. She is living her life on her farm, all right? Enjoying her life while we still get to listen to her music because we have her in our minds frozen in time. If that's not a lesson in femininity, I don't know what else is. Take a look at this video and you and I will be back to close out this video.
People see you in videos and they think there's this slick, urban lady, and in reality, you're kind of a farm girl. Is that fair to say?
You saw the straw behind my ear. I don't give too much of myself away because when I go in the studio, I lose all my shyness and my inhibitions and make this record, and I feel well, that's what I'm giving up.
Lucky, and you now have seemed to found the right person to be in. How's that relationship? What's that like?
I really fell in love with him when he produced a plaster out of his wallet for my daughter.
In the beginning of our video, I said that she has beauty, but most importantly, she has humility. And I'm going to reinforce that same sentiment here. She fell in love with a man because he gave her daughter a Band-Aid. She didn't say that she fell in love with him because of his money or because what he can offer her. But what she saw in that act of giving her daughter the Band-Aid was an act of compassion. And that tells me a lot about the woman. What kind of man she falls in love with tells me a lot about the woman, or the reason why she falls in love. Period. Tells me a lot about the woman. So there are a few things that are aiding in this love that we have for her as this mysterious person who pops out whenever she wants to. The first reason is she understands who she is, how valuable she is, how much of herself she's going to share with the world, and how much of herself she wants to dedicate to the life that she's created. Now, if today's lesson wasn't a lesson, well, darling, I don't know what to tell you. Because that's all I got, mamas. In any event, I'll see you guys on the next one. Be inspired, be empowered, and be well as always. Bye.